if I only parented Jack and Lucy based off of how they feel, like, dude, they'd be the worst kids ever.
Yeah.
And what's more important is not how they feel in the current moment, but who they're becoming.
And I think for a long time in youth ministry, we actually had ecclesiology out of order.
Yeah.
Like, youth ministry was just about reaching
So lost.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I just want to reach lost souls and lost kids. And so we would do that, but then you have no leaders to disciple them.
Right.
You have no one discipling because you've invested all your time, your energy, your money, and just to get kids to show up in the room.
Welcome to the Future Leader Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Future Leader Podcast. This is the most requested episode we've had from all the millions of fans.
Yeah, it is.
This is two incredible friends sponsored by Carlsbad Water. This podcast might get canceled. We'll see how this goes.
Or keep it together, Jake.
It would be because of me.
My
She was like the filtered one.
I want to be a Fouquier brother one day as well. But
You are a Fouquier brother.
help me welcome the one and only Jake and Jude Fouquier, everybody. Yes, let's go. We'll input sounds there or something. Hey, grateful you guys are here. We are
here.
at the Future Leader Conference right now. We just did a panel, and I think it's been super fun. I have these two boys here today because I'm kind of when I was kind of coming up in youth ministry, especially young, I hired at like 20. It was just legend stuff. Jude Fouquier, Jake Fouquier, what they're doing, and I felt like it was the biggest gift and honor to like somehow find connections. And it was so unique for each of us. For you, it was at an LSU UCLA game.
Yeah. We lost.
Yeah, you guys got.
We did today.
Yeah, and then I think I met you at TFH the first time.
Yes.
But these are just two of goated youth pastors. I mean, faithful, done it the right way. Your dad. I mean, it's just it's legacy, and there's no one else I'd want to speak on what we're going to speak on today, which I don't really know. We might talk about Catholics, Jake. We might talk about surfing the whole time. I was like thinking, like, what if we just like did a whole podcast on like why Catholics are awesome, and we just let Jake go crazy.
Or Catholic contraception.
Talk about it.
Yeah. Let's talk about in vitro.
So I want to put this. Both your guys' youth ministries for me represented places of great culture. And for a young guy watching, I just want to talk about, there's something about going to both of your environments. I got the privilege of, I got to preach, I got to be in both of your guys' environments. And it is just so inspiring to see a group of leaders and young people all unified in our vision. Like, obviously none of us got it perfect, but you guys built the right way for a long time. So talk to a 20, 21-year-old, someone starting a youth ministry. Is day one. You just got hired, or you have a desire to do it.
Yeah.
Walk maybe back in your mind a little bit on so what were some of the things that were just incredible, that got it rolling, that you would say, you got to do this?
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is I started at 21. Man, and I wish I could go back and talk to my 21-year-old self.
Yeah.
Be like, dude, take a deep breath and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when you have kids or you're newly married or freshly dating. There's something in our human experience where we always want to get to the next, you know? I would just say, like, dude, stop and just enjoy that season, enjoy the little things, enjoy, you know, when you have to drive students because their parents didn't pick them up, taking out to lunch, all the fun little memories, even the mistakes, like, take the pressure off. Yes, it's a weight, it's a calling, but just enjoy it, because I think, dude, what makes awesome culture and what brings unity and what allows you to do this for years and even decades compared to a few months is like you have to love it.
Yes.
You have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You have to be having fun. Like if you're not having fun, your students and leaders aren't going to be having fun.
Yes.
If you don't love it. And that's one thing I go back to even now. Like I haven't been a youth pastor now for 5-6 months.
Crazy.
Dude, but I still love it.
Yeah.
You know? And I look back at those times and I kind of wish I could be there on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And I loved preaching. I loved, you know, planning the services, but just to hang out with the students and like see how their week was and talk to leaders. Yeah. And man, there's nothing like it. And so I would say like, man, fall in love with it. And and the way you do that is like finding the little things that make you passionate about youth ministry. Yeah. So for me, I had a great youth pastor growing up. Yeah. He was a great preacher. We had great culture. But one of the cultures I loved as a student, I loved my small group.
Come on.
So I knew like when I became a youth pastor, I'm going to lean into that.
Yeah.
And before I could have like a bunch of small groups, I'm just going to have one, you know, with students. I'm going to have fun like on Tuesday nights when we were off campus, and now we do it different. And then another thing I loved was worship. is specifically like the fast songs and like just going.
My favorite thing about being at your church would be you on the side stage, mosh pit, like jumping, just hyped with
because that's what I loved when I was in middle school and high school.
Yeah.
And so to figure out, because a lot of times you don't know what your passions are, you have to grow into it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I like doing this, so I'm just gonna do that. And do the things
and kids
that
would watch you. I think a lot of times like people are frustrated, like our kids don't jump, our kids aren't passionate. It's like, well, you're on your phone in the front row, like not right. So like, I think you modeled it so well,
dude. And that is one of like the non-negotiables for us, like for our leaders, from when we were like a youth group of 30 kids to when we were a youth group of more size, is leaders are not standing in the back, we're up front worshiping. And so that came out of a natural passion.
Beautiful.
Like actually spending time with students, being invested in their lives came out of like a passion, like someone did that for me. And so like I was just super grateful for it. So if I could talk to a 21-year-old youth pastor, dude, figure out what you're passionate about and lean into that. Because we like to like, it's important to learn. We tried all the different models, but the worst models we tried were the ones that I weren't passionate about, and I was like trying to force it to happen. Dude, God's graced you for a reason. And grow in the grace that God's given you. And so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I started at 20 as well.
So cool.
Like I got hired at 20 years old, halfway through my second year of Bible college. And I was like commuting 2 hours 3 times a week.
That's awesome.
That was me too.
And I would say like a lot of things I did wrong was, you know, and especially some of it kind of goes into my personality. I'm just like, if you're not with me, you're against me. You're out of here.
You're dead to me.
I had what they call in the South the Gideon's revival. Like I grew in reverse. I lost all my leaders.
Dude, that's such a good. It's like a blessing though when that happens.
Yeah, 100%. But it was a trimming, and I think be okay with the trimming. And I don't think I did a lot of things right. I think I probably should have had more compassion in pastor's heart when I came in. I would say what I did right though was similar to what you were saying and what you like. If I wanted the youth ministry that I had in my heart, I knew that don't ever come in with the presupposition that people know your heart and they know your culture.
They don't assume.
That's the biggest mistake people make, is that you assume that everyone knows what you mean by discipleship. You assume you think everyone knows what you mean by worship, and then you get frustrated with leaders when they don't do what you assumed them to know. And so I guess I came in as a 20-year-old and I was kind of wild, but what I did right was like, okay, I want a culture of worship. And I remember Pastor Jensen was like, I had youth Saturday night and then 4 services on a Sunday. And we had a 6 p.m. service. He's like, and I want youth kids up there jumping. And I'm like, okay. So we had like 2 kids the first week. And one of them's here today. He's a youth pastor.
Come on.
I would jump with them and I would pick them up. I'm like, let's go. And it was like.
I love Jake's, let's go.
Eventually that grew. We would have over 100 kids. And that wasn't even our youth service, just worshiping.
Come on.
Wow.
But I was, every week, I would be in the middle jumping. If I wanted people to bring students, I would do an hour of training, an hour of intercessory prayer. So we'd get there by 1 o'clock.
Before the youth service?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, heck yeah.
So for my first year, because it's like, I want to be intentional with the leaders we're building.
Very good.
Yeah.
So an hour we would train, we'd go through a book, we then would pray for an hour, and then we would all leave, myself included, and we'd go fill up a car of kids, and we'd come back.
Come on.
And I'm like, it's not something that I could do if we have a youth ministry. You know, as we grew, it was harder and harder to do those things. But because I modeled that, it set a precedence of this is our culture.
Awesome.
And then I would say bring definition to what do you want. So bring cultures and values, bring those in sooner rather than later. So we had 7 atmospheres that I would go through every. These
are great. Break those down. I remember you walking me through this.
So the first one is we encounter God. Like we're not here to just play church. We're here to encounter God. We bring others. You don't go to the movies alone. You don't go to the mall alone. Why would you go to church alone?
Yes.
We do life together. Like Christianity is not individualized, privatized spirituality.
Yes.
But we do it together. We are family. So welcome to the family. We're glad you're here. Be honest, be vulnerable, be open, and see what God can do. We are generous. We live open-handed. We give of our time, of our energy, and of our money. We speak life. We never speak death. We always build up. We don't tear down. And the last one is we party. Church shouldn't be endured. It should be enjoyed. I would do that every Saturday before my sermon.
That's awesome.
Because we would bring in a ton of outreach kids. I wanted them to know this is what we're about.
Wow.
And then the last thing I would say is when you're starting young, the best thing I do an exit interview with our college students now.
Yeah.
And I always say, okay, 10 years from now, who do you want to be?
Yeah.
Not like what position do you want to have or how many kids do you want to have. What person do you want to be in Christ?
Yeah. That's good.
And then work your way back from there. So when I was 20, I was like, okay, at 30 years old, I want to still be in youth ministry.
Come on.
Hopefully I'll be married and I want to be a healthy husband.
Yes.
Maybe I'll have kids. I want to be a healthy father. I want to be deeper in my walk with Christ. I want to be more in love with Jesus. I want to be building the church and all of these things. And I want to grow and so you have these areas and then you work your way backwards of, okay, what do I need to do now to get to there?
Right.
So now that I'm in my 30s, I'm thinking at 40, I've already done this. At 40, who do I want to be? What type of pastor do I want? Now I know I'm a pastor, and I'll probably be a lead pastor by then. I'm a father. I'm a husband.
Yeah.
My kids will be teenagers by then. What type of kids will I have? And I'm working my way backwards. And I think so culturally, you won't build good culture if you have a short-term view. And that was probably the bigger mistakes that I would make is that I was short-sighted. I was thinking like the next 6 months, the next year. But the best things I did was always when we were thinking, what's the fruit in this 5 years from now?
Yes.
And then, so cultures, I think, usually aren't good when we're only building 6 months at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that was huge mistakes I made as a 20-year-old.
And judging our success weekly.
Yes.
You know, it's like,
yes, 100%.
if this night was good, then I feel good. And if it wasn't, then I don't feel good.
Yeah. I remember clearly there was this one time, Pastor Jensen like never came to youth. And we had like this goal. It's like we were over 200. So for 6 months straight, we didn't go below 200. And I'm like, dude, we're changing the world. And of course, the week that Jensen just randomly shows up with his family, we're like 175. Yeah. I remember telling my core leader, we suck, dude. This is the worst. We have the worst youth ministry. I'm a failure. He's going to be so disappointed in me. And I get up and spoke a sermon. And you know what? The best part about it is he comes up to the altar. He's worshiping with us.
Wow.
And he goes up to me. He's like, this is the youth ministry I had in my heart.
Wow.
And it's like, for me, I'm thinking this is the worst week ever.
Right.
Because I'm so narrow-minded.
Very good.
And I think I wish I would have, and I think you would probably say the same. You did it longer than I was. After 9 years, I transitioned out, and I think that after 9 years, I was with you the day after I left. It's like, I wish I would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
I would live so week to week that I didn't even look back. And now today, it's awesome. I'm seeing all these kids that I influence, and I'm like, dude, I wish I would have just been pumped that they were here.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
Right.
And I was just so. I still message my core team.
Wow.
And we'll text some of them.
That's awesome.
And reach out to them because they dude, we were in the trenches together. It was like you're in World War I. You're getting gassed, you're getting bombed, and
that's wild.
And it's but we're fighting together. And I'm like, I do wish I would have enjoyed it more. And I think your leaders, it's actually an unhealthy culture, and your leaders feel that.
Yes.
And I think that was probably one of my biggest mistakes is that I didn't enjoy the wins.
Wow.
I didn't enjoy the moment. Faith is a present reality. Faith is present. And I can have faith because I have hope that God's got the future under control.
Right.
And I think the two things that will prevent you from having faith for the right now in your youth ministry is you have no vision for the future, or you're so caught up in what you did, like mistakes in the past or anxiety, which I wish I would have done this, or you're too insecure about maybe your whatever. Whereas in faith is this present reality. So I can have vision for the future, look 10 years down the road, that's where I want to be. Okay, God, now I have the faith. I'm joining my faith. I don't see this fruit, but I'm going to plant the seed.
Very good.
And then then you that's what happens.
Right.
Go ahead. Go for it. You said something to me, I don't know, 3 years ago that I've regurgitated a ton of times. You had an epiphany in what you were building. And you said, it was, I don't want to give the punchline away, but you were talking about your view of weekly gatherings. You were thinking about how they feeling. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
In the epiphany you had.
I think during COVID and doing youth ministry through it, really shook up okay, why are we doing this? And I think the feeling I had, especially after having kids.
Yeah.
Because when I had kids, I feel the responsibility of it is my job to shape their worldview, their relationship with Jesus. And in the end, that responsibility falls on me for for Jack and Lucy.
Yes.
And then expanding that to the students who are in my youth ministry, I begin to think when they're off in college, when they're at their school, if they don't have a biblical worldview, if they're not equipped, that falls on me as their youth pastor. I want to treat them as our kids. So if I only parented Jack and Lucy based off of how they feel, like, dude, they'd be the worst kids ever.
Yeah.
And what's more important is not how they feel in the current moment, but who they're becoming. And so what shifted for our weekly Wednesday services is a lot of our programming, emphasis, planning, stress, like attention was put into, back in the day, how is this going to make them feel?
Yeah.
And something shifted from, okay, I don't want that to be my main focus. I want to start thinking about who are they becoming. So instead of thinking of how they're feeling, it's who are they becoming. And then let's emphasize the programming around that, what we're preaching about, what does Wednesday night feel like? That's when we did youth. What are all the different things we're doing? Who are they becoming? And so becoming isn't just a 1 week thing. It takes time. And I'm really grateful the youth ministry philosophy we grew up in with Pastor Wendell, my dad, Judah, it was a generations mindset. So it wasn't a weekly, month, yearly, it's generations. And Pastor Wendell would say that, youth ministry is a very thankless job, but the reward is when you see the students that you raised up and poured into getting married in the church, having families, like that's the real benefit. It takes generations. And so you have to have that who are they becoming mindset. And to all the young leaders, youth pastors here, it takes time. It takes time. Don't give up in doing good. For in due season, you will reap that reward and see the harvest. And so it takes time. And so I think a lot shifted once I had kids, my own like personal kids of, okay, how I viewed the youth ministry. I definitely got a lot more safe, less reckless, because I started realizing, oh, these are other people's kids. I need to take care of them.
Not throwing them off ladders on the tables or anything like that.
And it just got way more fruitful too, like thinking about who are they becoming. Because let's be honest, what I was trying to do is put on a mini conference every week. And prepare a message that would be as impactful as if I was preaching at, when I was a young youth pastor, I wanted to preach at Young and Free Conference. That was the goal. Like that's how I was treating every Wednesday if the worship set wasn't. And so I had to reframework. No, this is something completely different. So let's set our expectations different. It doesn't mean excellence goes down, but our goals are different.
So good.
100%. And I think it goes down to we all had to in 2020 rethink our ecclesiology. And I think for a long time in youth ministry, we actually had ecclesiology out of order. Like youth ministry was just about reaching the
lost.
Like it's like I just want to reach lost souls and lost kids. And so we would do that, but then you have no leaders to disciple them. You have no one discipling because you've invested all your time, your energy, your money, and just to get kids to show up in the room. And I think what shifted for me was my job's not to get them to show up, just to show up. It's to grow up. Like, can I mature them? Can I grow them? And so it first goes, I can't do that unless I go in the order God gave us. I teach them to worship God in every area of their life. I equip them for the work of the ministry. And then from that, the byproduct is we're going to reach the world. And I have people asking me, and I'm sure they do with you, like, hey, how do you get on campus? How do you do this? I'm like, how's your leadership team?
Well, what is the point of reaching the streets or the lost if you're bringing them to somewhere where it's just another concert or game or whatever, right? Like, and they're not being set free, healed, trained there. Like, what point is it?
And what's the point of reaching the lost, going to campuses, if you can't even reach the pastor's kids or the staff kids?
Or they're staying lost. You know what I mean? It's like,
And so it's like focus on who you have first.
It's very good.
Grow out. Like, it's like, focus smaller and then grow those circles out. I think is huge. And just having like a lot of patience in the process.
Patience. And the hardest team, we've become so Gnostic in our view of church in the sense of like everything is ethereal. So like it's easier to dream up about the schools and not the kids that you have. Because you're not held accountable by them showing up.
Very good.
Like I'm just dreaming big. Like, oh, we want to reach the world. And I think, and I'm actually fleshing this thought out, but like if you read Acts, there's a condensed amount of persecution culminating in chapter 8 with Stephen. When they're like, the book goes Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, ends of the earth. So in the first 8 chapters, they're at home. They're in Jerusalem. And the most amount, like condensed, like kind of like place of persecution and resistance was at home first.
Yeah, that's a great thought.
And so you have to push through that. The easy route is I just need to replace these kids with getting new kids to show up. The hard route is what Jude's saying. Can I invest? Can I get this pastor's kid? Yep. And if your senior pastor's kid goes to your youth ministry, and you're not making them a priority, you're failing that pastor. You know, and I mean that.
I hold that opinion too.
Yeah, like 100%. They are not your enemy.
No,
they are not. Parents are not your enemy. The devil is your enemy.
Yeah.
So quit fighting with flesh and blood and fight by the Spirit. And why don't you win their heart over?
Yeah, figure out a way to capture their heart.
Love on them.
You
Find
have to
what they
capture their
like.
heart first. Yeah.
Yeah, people are like, I don't know what they like. I'm like, have you asked them? Have you tried? I became
See
obsessed.
what they're passionate about.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will become obsessed with the dumbest things. Why wouldn't I do that for a student whose parents are laying down their life? And I think
so good.
Oftentimes, and I made this, it's like hometown, like the church is, like the church kids were my enemy, right? Because there's like, oh, I just can't reach them, they're too religious. I was one of them. And you know what? I think in my own insecurity because I wasn't, I was a church kid, I'm going to go and reach the lost, which is a good desire. It's not a bad desire to want to reach the lost. But I circumvented the process, and at times I paid the price long term because we didn't build a foundation that was sustained. So we had great numbers at times, but I paid the price long term because I didn't, I wasn't willing to fight through the resistance at home.
And you think that's why there's probably an 18-month average turnaround 100%. For guys, is they can't last. And one of the things I love about both of you and why I've been really strategic to fight to keep you guys in my life and guys like you, is you guys have both done it for an extended amount of time and you've been faithful in it. And, I started youth ministry, I was like, I didn't like different seasons. I didn't like wake up at 17 and be like, I want to do this when I'm older. It's just kind of like, I said yes to one door opened. Yes. But then God exposed me to people like your dad, both of you. I can name Michael and Gia, just guys who were like in year 8, 9, 10. And I came from a youth ministry where every 18 months through 6th or 8th grade, literally I had 5 different youth pastors from 6th to 12th grade. And I just kind of had a resolve, hey, you know what? Like, this is what they do. I think I'm going to try and do this. And I'm going into year 7 right now, and it's like, I think awesome. speak to faithfulness. I even think it's generational a little bit. Like you guys probably were in a generation where like youth pastors were kind of like idolized in some way, not even a bad way. It was just 100%. like that was the goal. It's like, I want to be like Pastor Judah. I want to be like whatever it is. You know what I mean? And then somewhere along the way, it like kind of just got lost and guys are quitting early and missing, I think, some of the most fruitful parts of it.
I think we had a dad, like we saw the fruit of our dad being in the same place for 18 years.
Wow.
Right? Like, I think that like some of the...
Dude,
like,
that's so key.
Yeah.
Like, not to cut you off, but like I look at your dad, I look at our dad.
Yeah.
So those are our natural dads.
It's an unfair fight.
And,
gotta be honest.
And for some of you, you might be like, well, of course, your dads.
Yeah.
I want to let you know that maybe you didn't have the same natural dad and circumstances we had and we're blessed to have. But I want to let you know there are spiritual fathers that you can find and submit yourself to. Because here's the thing, we all want fathers, but we don't want to be fathered.
Yeah.
It's like when they call you out, when there's discipline, when there's challenge, when there's growth. Yeah. Like, we know our dads better than anything, and it's those challenge moments that help us grow. So I want to let you know, say you don't have a father in your life. Find one and put that responsibility on yourself to do whatever it takes. Yeah. Because I've seen with a lot of guys that can make or break your calling, trajectory, purpose for your life if you cannot find that, because it's a mountain that guys will walk around over and over and over, and you see similar things popping up where it's like, dude, just find a dad, stay planted, get corrected, get offended, and find healing through all of the stuff that comes with being fathered. Like, find it, because I think it's really difficult to be successful in the call of God for your life if you don't have a father speaking into your life. Yeah. And just, I want to say once again, you might not have it naturally. You can find one. Like pastors, leaders, and it's not a podcast that you listen to. No. Yeah. It's someone who's speaking into your life. Someone who's calling you up.
Guys want, I think they say they want a father, but they really want like a mentor.
Right.
And a mentor is like, hey, like once a week, would you check in with me? And would you like, give me the tips of the trade? Right. And I don't want to see you for the other 7 days.
Right.
I think a discipleship relationship though is like, no, I'm gonna be like in your business all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, we're just gonna do this together. I might sometimes sit you down and talk. I might sometimes just be operating. I want you to watch. I want you to see.
Yeah.
Which means you have to be like available to put yourself out there and cancel things on your calendar. Yes. Like, make space for it.
You have to be planted.
Yeah.
You have to choose to be planted. And I think the word you hit on, why we're doing what we're doing, yes, we're gifted and anointed, but it was our availability more than our ability to just say, yes, I'm going to stick it out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave, and I'm going to stay planted.
Yeah. I think I always found it funny when people would want to be discipled by our dad and say, like, I want you to father me like your sons, right? And then they would like go and like, try to scam on some girl. My dad would get in their face and be like, don't be a pervert, And then they're like, oh, why aren't you fathering me like your sons? It's like, guys, that's what he did to us, you know? Like, and I think that we have
That's awesome.
Like, and I think like to answer your question, like that generation was so great and they did things so excellently. But one thing they didn't do is and I'm not to like throw shade on anyone, but they abdicated that role. They kind of like poo-pooed at like having that type of voice in your life. And they kind of like, oh yeah, this guy's my spiritual father, but they never listened to them. Yeah. They never submitted to them. And they modeled that to a generation. Right. So then we come up and it's like, nah, that ain't it. Yeah. And, and we see people. And so the Apostle Paul says that you need more fathers. And, that's what we don't need more young up and comings.
Brothers, uncles, that kind of thing. Yeah.
We need fathers. You do need Barnabas, who's a son of encouragement in your life. Yeah. But you need someone who's going to body you when you're full of pride and you're arrogant and you
have some humility.
Yes. Yeah. Humility. Look, grace, this whole idea, Christ is not just humble, he is humility. Think about this. God, the creator of heaven and earth, comes and becomes a creation, becomes human, is baptized into his creation, the Jordan River, by his creation, John the Baptist, is beaten, so cool. Broken, and God is, Andrew talked about this last night, God is a patient God. Yeah. And God is consistent. He's thinking long term. Humility will serve you, but humility sometimes only comes through two things, I would say, suffering and submission. Yes. And usually those are together.
Yep.
And some of us don't have the oil we want, the authority we want. How can you submit to a God you can't see if you won't submit to the leaders you can see?
Boom.
Right.
And our dad says that to us all the time.
That's so good.
So I think there's a level of like...
And what does it mean to be submitted, to show honor? It doesn't mean you always agree. Yeah. It doesn't mean you have dreams of how we could do this different. But I do think there is a respect for what's been done.
Yes.
For the price they've paid.
Yes.
For the culture that's been created.
Yes.
I think one thing I've been like trying to process in my brain is like culture at large. Like especially like niche cultures like youth ministry or whatever you do, like there's something super important about the history of that culture.
Yeah.
Understanding the pioneers who sacrificed, who paid the price. And a part of honoring and being fathered is acknowledging that and realizing that we're not the Messiah to the culture and we're here to take it to places it's never been. Yes. That might be true, but first you have to honor where you came from.
So good.
And I do think what I've seen on social media, and I'm trying to like work out my relationship with it, is like everyone has a voice, which is good. Everyone can say something, and we see that voices are elevated, which is really awesome. But what I wonder is like the history of where we came from and why we do what we do, what happened. And there's leaders who did amazing things. There's leaders who fell, but like there seems to be no regard for any of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what's happening is we're kind of losing the depth of culture.
Yes. Yeah.
And sometimes, I'm a surfer. Like there was localism in surfing, and everyone's like, "No, the ocean's for everyone."
Yeah.
Cool. Yes. But when you show up into a lineup, there's like a history there.
Yeah.
There's a culture. There's an etiquette, and you see people showing up, and there's zero etiquette for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I could do whatever I want.
Yeah.
The ocean's for everyone.
Yeah.
No, actually, you're making this worse for everyone because you have no etiquette, you have no respect, you have no honor.
Yes.
And sometimes you need an uncle or a father to check you.
To correct you.
And
it
put you in your place a little bit and have some humility. Like, I want to learn.
Yeah.
Tell me story. How did we get here?
I think it goes back to we have a Gnostic view of church. Like, it's only spiritual.
Right.
So then when someone actually physically, like, no, I'm submitted to Jesus. yeah, cool. You're also submitted to, like, and I would say that Jesus says, I no longer call you servants, but I call you sons.
Yes.
And I think most people in the churches they work don't get the portion of that senior pastor's anointing. They don't get any part of it because they only think of themselves as a servant.
Yes.
Wow.
They never actually sit under as a son.
Very good.
That's awesome.
And honor. And I would say with Pastor Jensen, you know, I did that. And it was awesome. I'm like, I'm going to work for this guy. He was an incredible preacher, anointed. I'm like, dude, I want whatever oil that will drip off the table.
Yeah.
If it's just I was like the Syrophoenician woman. I was like, I'm just a dog, dude. But I just want a crumb.
Yeah.
So they would ask, like, who wants to drive him? And no one would answer. I was like,
really?
I do.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sit in 3 hours in the car. Why?
Yeah.
Because, and I would ask him, hey, what are the areas of my life I need to adjust? What don't wait for them to hold you accountable. I pursued that.
So good.
Because I saw him as like, you know, and what's interesting, you know, this is a shout out to Andrew. I was going to steal the thought and not give him credit, but in his sermon, he talks about the prodigal son last week at his church, which everyone should check it out, Rose Church. But he was saying that in Luke 15, the lost coin, the woman goes and looks. The lost sheep, the shepherd goes and looks. And the prodigal son, the son, no one actually goes and looks for him.
Yeah.
He comes back, and then the father runs and meets him.
Yeah.
And really, it was the job of the older brother to go and find the son that went off.
Whoa.
And for me, the father's job is not, he's
Very
already sent Jesus. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it's very good.
Sometimes in discipleship, it's like, well, he needs to know that I'm struggling. No.
Yeah.
You need to go and say, hey, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I'm dry.
Yeah.
Will you, now hopefully your pastors are hearing from God and have discernment. But we put all the pressure on the father to do every bit of it.
It's awesome.
And guess what? When you turn to them, our dad was this way. I remember moments I literally confessed every sin I ever did. And when he responded, he hugged me and we cried. And then he was like, okay, now you're going to go into counseling.
Yeah.
I think and just to wrap up this thought, with having a father in your life, having a church you're committed to, planted at, you have to get ready to get hurt.
Yes.
And the thing is, the hurt, don't let it get into your soul and turn you sour. Like you can find healing through it. You can learn from your hurts. You can grow in your hurts. But you're gonna get hurt. You're not gonna find a perfect father except for our Father in heaven.
Yes.
But we need them in our life. And the way we grow through it is like getting hurt. You know, there's good times, there's bad times, failing, getting back up, you know.
It's awesome.
But you have to be ready for that.
Yeah, can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, you got to break out. So as long as,
there was back to the Catholics. So this is how I want to finish.
Perfect.
There was this guy named Father Andrew. He teaches the Gospels and Luke and Acts at the Vatican. And he came to our church and he talked about how Romans 11 is to be grafted in. Both must be wounded.
Well,
and so it's actually in the moments of your wounding that the sap pours out, and you have an opportunity to attach your wounds to the wounds of Christ. And only in Christ can your wounds be transformed into something that is good.
Wow.
And Christ, in perpetuity, carries his humanity and his wounds, his scars. He will always have those scars. But we won't have that opportunity in eternity. Only on this side of heaven can we attach our wounds to the wounds of Christ. And when you are wounded in church, which is going to happen, get in your secret place.
Yes.
Attach it to the wounds of Christ.
Right. Yes.
And then guess what it produces? Humility.
yeah, it's awesome.
It's like,
It's so good.
I suffered a little bit, but not as much as you.
Yeah.
So help me out, Lord.
Boys, thank you. That was deep.
Dude,
That was
thank
rich.
you. Heck yeah.
I wish we could have done this longer. Jake's about to run down and teach some guys how to build youth leaders. So
Awesome.
I love you guys both. Thank you for being
Yeah,
on my
love
life.
you
Thank
too.
you
We
for
love
doing
you.
this.
You're the best.
Thank you guys for watching this today. Stay tuned for more content. Peace.